Hey everyone, I'm Ronak and today I'm going to teach you how to play this Indian origin roll and write game called Go Goa. In this game, you and your friends will trace out your trip in the Indian state of Goa and try to cover beaches, waterfalls, forts, historical sites and religious sites. In this 12-day trip, the player who gathers the maximum points by finishing goals is the winner. Let's look at the setup. First, give each player a player sheet and a pencil with which they can write their names over here. Now, separate the tour plans into two decks. One with the 40-point cards and the other with the 20 and 30-point cards, and shuffle them separately. Deal 2 tour plan cards from each pile to each player, such that everyone has now 4 cards. Players now choose 2 tour plan cards from the 4 in their hand and place them next to their sheet like this. The remaining 2 can be kept in the box, they won't be used in this game. The player who most recently visited any new state or country starts the game, and the new starting player will be the person sitting left of this player. Let's look at how to play. At the beginning of a round, all players, as a reminder, must strike off the next unmarked day in the trip days row of their sheet. The starting player now rolls all 3 dice. After rolling, all players must now decide that which one of these 3 categories they need to assign the results to, keeping in mind their goals, and remember, all the players do this simultaneously. These categories are direction, deviation and distance. Let's first look at direction. According to the illustration on the map, these are the 6 directions you can move based on the die you chose for this. For example, if I choose 2 as my direction die, I must trace my path starting in this direction from my origin. After selecting this, now you have to decide the number of steps or distance to travel from the remaining die options. I may trace away the path from my origin as many spaces as the number of distance die I have chosen. Keep in mind, this can only be done in the same direction as the direction die. The remaining die now decides how many turns or deviations can be taken in your straight path. A result of 1, 2 or 3 allows you to take up to 1 deviation. In the event of a 4, 5 or a 6 rolled, you can take up to 2 deviations. Remember that the die used by the starting player for their direction cannot be used as a direction die by any other player this round. They must use one of the other 2 rolled. Once all players have decided where to use their dice, they now together draw the path they have taken for the day on their player sheet. If you end your movement on a tourist destination, which are these colored spaces, you must immediately mark or shade that space. You also mark the relevant space over at the tourist destination area on your sheet, starting with the leftmost empty circle in that row like this. And finally, if any of your tour plan cards have that destination, you mark it there as well. If a player has chosen from dice that moves them outside Goa, they may continue to move in the opposite direction instead. If they still move off the board, then they can choose the starting player's die, and if still unmovable like in these conditions, then they can choose any direction. Remember that if a die is chosen for either direction, deviation or distance in this round by a player, they cannot use that same result for any of the other 2. Let's look at the local guides. Landing on these 3 beach locations, Kalangut, Kolva and Parle, offers players a chance to unlock a local guide ability. Once you land on these beaches, simply outline the relevant circle in the local guide section. This indicates that this ability is open to use in the future rounds. A player can use a local guide ability to add or subtract 1 from the value of any one die in the future round. The die can be changed from 1 to 6 or vice versa as well. Do remember that this is only a one-time ability, so once you use it, just mark an X on the spot to remind you that this has been used. Game end. The game ends when the 12th day is over or 12 rounds is over. And then players move on to scoring. Scoring. Players must now write their scores in this area of the sheet. Score 10 points for every destination you successfully visited and mention the total over here. Then, any player who reached the Dudhsagar Falls gets 20 points. Other players who did not manage to reach over there, skip this and do not record any points in this section. You get 20, 30 or 40 points for completing all 3 places in a tour plan card. If you completed both your tour plan cards, that's very nice. Write the total in this section. You also get 30 points for each set of 5 unique destinations marked here. Over here, give yourselves 10 points for visiting 3 destinations of the same type and 30 points for going to 6 destinations of the same type. Finally, all players add the values in all of these circles and write the total score over here. The player with the highest score wins the game, and in case of a tie, the player who has visited the least beaches wins the game. In case of a further tie, then the players just share the victory. This game can also be played solo, where you can play all 12 rounds just by yourself with the same rules that I mentioned in this video. Once you're done, simply check this chart in the rulebook to see how you did. And that is how you play Go Goa. Go Goa is one of the Indian produced games made by an Indian publisher called Kheo Games, who have also reached out to us and helped sponsor this video. If you want to know where you can buy this game from, I'll leave a small link in the description below. Do check it out, and they might be coming up with some new and exciting games as well. So do subscribe to their newsletters if you are into all of that. But also do follow them on Facebook, Instagram. I think those are the 2 handles that they are most active on. But we are also active on Facebook, Instagram as well as Twitter. So follow us and you will get to know more about these wonderful games and how to play them as well. And plus we also keep on playing and we keep on posting about it. If you have any questions still regarding the game as well as its rules, do mention in the comments down below and I'll make sure that I'll reach out to you and I'll clarify all your doubts. If you have any feedback on these videos that I make, please also write it down below if you like it, did not like it, if there's something that I can improve on. Till then, I hope you subscribe to us and we'll meet you in the next video. Till then, keep playing and I'll see you in the next one.